But they're very quiet. I'm sneaking in.
Vacancy on the Planning Commission. Madam Clerk.
And to July 15th, due to only 2 applications being received during the original application period. The City Council and public.
I'd like to go around and City of Chula Vista. Member Preciado, do you have James Smythe?
Can I ask a question before we move forward?
Yes.
I had a question on one of the candidates' application.
I really appreciate you being here for the interview today. To fill the vacancy.
Back to the community. Now again, I've been retired for 7 years. I have a lot of flexibility, of course, being retired. I do a lot of things. I think I understand it, and I think I understand it. And in terms, of course, came into being, and it's really made it an issue with water service. I won't go into that, but ADUs, I would hope, from a planning commission perspective, get our environmental impact report or
Publicly stated.
and we don't have unintended consequences, which I guess is in the urban core. I have not looked at the urban core plan recently, but back then I saw we have to go.
Communities and our newer communities. With that.
So we don't have these unintended, again, consequences.
Tomorrow, the clerk will notify you of who the winner is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for to keep it fair, and then you'll have after that a 1-minute closing. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, Seattle.
So at present, most of the members of the Planning Commission live in District 1 or District 2?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not really all the major plans. I watched 805 get constructed when I was at Hilltop High School. So, you know, getting perspective as I've contributed to a dominance of West Side, if I might say West.
As a planning commissioner.
In fact, I would have a perspective supporting them financially. So, you know, I mean, we don't want to get into interest rates and all that other side of things statistically in the county, but I've been told we're the most expensive permit in the city, in the county. Issue, I would contribute to that. Time, why does it take so long for a review to take place? Why, even in subdivisions, you know. Well, I think I would have to voice a professional perspective. You know, that there is no vision for our city. Well, and at 66, and I don't know what's left in front of me. There's probably fewer days than I would just like an opportunity to serve a little bit. I remember Gail McCandless. She had that experience, and God bless her. I live by her park up there. Ken Lee, some you know, Luis Hernandez, some of these folks, Dwayne Basil. I mean, these are names. Fire marshal, right, or fire captain. I'm not sure of their title, but I've seen Chula Vista grow a lot as a young entrepreneur, and now as a, you know, as an aging professional. I'd like to get a chance to give some back for a little while. I think I've got a lot up here and a lot in here that could benefit this city with the few years I might have left, and I'd like that chance very much. I would value that.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview. My hope is that you'll live another 66 years, so you'll be here for at least till you're 132 years old.
I want to see Bayfront open.
Yeah.
I'd love to get
May 2025.
That's right, so I feel pretty good about that.
The city clerk will contact you tomorrow to tell you what the results are with this, but thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you all. It was nice speaking with you.
Thank you. That is incredible. Hello.
Hope I'm not keeping everybody from dinner, so.
No, no, no. Thank you very much, Mr. Sanfilippo, for being willing to interview. The process is that we're going to give you a 1-minute opening. Then we'll have each council member go ahead and ask you a question. We're having all the council members ask the same question to each applicant to make sure it's fair, and then you'll have a 1-minute closing. With that, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, Member Preciado, if you can ask your first question.
Excuse me, I've been asking,
Oh, I'm sorry. You have a 1-minute opening
I thought you
statement.
said that.
So, yeah, so let's go ahead and do that, and then I apologize, Member Preciado.
If you wanna go first too.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna serve you, so.
Go ahead, Mr. Sanfilippo.
Okay. So, I'm a South Bay guy, born in Paradise Valley Hospital, lived most of my time in Chula Vista. I raised my kids here through the elementary school, high school, 2 graduated from Chula High, 1 from Hilltop. Very excited to be here because I once served for 10 years at the Board of Appeals for Lou Alcazan. Served 2 city councils as well as 2 different mayors. Servitude is something that gives me pleasure because I can sleep good at night knowing that I help somebody else in this community. So I have 34 years of construction experience, 10 in General Dynamics for a defense contractor. 15 of that I had a top secret clearance so I can keep secrets. I just want you to know. I was also a firefighter for a short time at Sequan Indian Reservation. Went through the whole Station 1 requirements. I'm also a member of the Chula Vista Chamber of Commerce, where I saw you and I saw Jose over there, and as well as the mayor at the the wildfire event, the conversation in Benita. So at this point, I guess now that's my minute.
Thank you very much. Member Preciado.
I've been asking the candidates if you believe it's important to have diversity of perspective from a regional point of view. We have a large city, 4 council districts, unique, and most of the representatives are in District 1 and from District 1 or District 2, so I think it's important to have diversity of perspective or where they live.
I believe that diversity and inclusion is important everywhere. I think we need a little bit more focus on the west side from the city standpoint. The makeup per the last census is predominantly Hispanic, District 4 being more Asian, and so on and so forth. So in relevance to that, the representation amongst everybody in this room, I think is a fair distribution of that. And as far as location, I think open spaces are a very important part of the community's. During 2020, everybody was cooped up, right? Everybody's just going nuts inside their house. So now these parks have been able to reopen. They need to be, all inclusive, as well as more dog parks are coming online. I think this new thing that I don't play is pickleball, but that took over tennis, so I think that's a pretty cool dynamic. But we need to be able to hopefully have those in all areas. I think the Gaylord project over here is an example of what's happening to our bayfront. That took a lot of work. It's union-based. I've been in 3 unions. So I've been in the Operator Engineers Union. I've been in the Local 89 Union. And while I was at General Dynamics for that period of time, I was also in another union out of Detroit. It was industrial security. So I think the union base is still strong, but I think they need to put more focus on the apprenticeship program, because whether it's union or non-union or union with the city, you're seeing a decline in trade-based applicants, and they're hard to find.
Yeah.
They're really hard to find. So I mean, maybe we could look at that, commercial base, which brings most of the tax base into the city. Also should be looking at, if they don't already, incorporating or doing collaboration of some type for the capital improvements of the upgrades that we probably have on our books, that possibly it could be deferred to the developer to upgrade. That's already all ongoing, and it has been for some time. San Diego runs a little bit more seamless than other cities. And I'm not speaking poorly of any other cities, but
That's okay.
my daughter, talking about service, and my daughter is a contracts manager for Public Works at the city of San Diego, and she was for a short time in the state of Washington. My son served in the military, and my youngest daughter also is at not NAS anymore, but Balboa in the medical field. So
Wow.
I raised them all to help others, so that, hopefully we can sleep easy at night.
I appreciate very much your response to my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Chavez?
I actually really like the response to your questions too. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for your time. And I just wanted to ask you, what do you believe are the most pressing planning and development issues facing our city today, and how would you address them as a planning commissioner?
Well, we're not gonna solve all 5 million homes that we need for affordable housing today, but that's nationwide. What we have in the city today is a need for more affordable housing, as well as, and I'm sure you're already working on the homeless situation with Governor Newsom's new requests. And I think that around at the end of 3rd Avenue in Maine, the new development for assistance and placement of homeless is probably a better representation of what other places are doing. Now, granted, being homeless isn't a crime. It's an inconvenience for some people, but it isn't a crime. What is a crime is when the drugs are used and some other things. So if they don't want to be part of the program, well, they have a choice not to. But those who want to be helped, I want to be that person to help them. And if it means getting them on their feet, getting them some, social assistance of some type, that's a step in the right direction for sure. There's plenty of other groups that will bring, and assist with housing, clothing, food banks. So I think we're the kind of the pillar. And I want to elaborate a little bit more. I left to go to Vegas for 3 years. Guess where I came back? Back to Chula Vista, because it feels like home. I don't think really there's a better place. And in the direction the city's going is, I think it's better than most. So anyway.
I like
I'll
this
tell
guy.
them.
Thank you very much. One of the challenges we have is affordable housing, but also I think the idea is I want to see more people have affordable home ownership. How would you, or what does the city need to do to be able to increase the home ownership opportunities in the city of Chula Vista?
Are these my other board members sitting behind me?
No, they're not.
All right, I don't want
They're
to speak
public,
out.
it's staff, councilman.
I don't want to speak out of turn without consulting with them, because then it would be,
That's a good one. You're the first one that asked.
yeah, always know who's behind you, right? Oh, by the way, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was in this, I got off the beaten track, sorry, Mayor.
Affordable ownership.
Yes, right now California has, and I don't know what right now our bank account looks like in Chula Vista, but something very similar is a co-op share that the state came in with, where they would cover your down in principal, so long as if you later, at a later time, sold the property, you split the equity in it. There's a lot of marginal people that really need that. My youngest daughter is one of them. I mean, they're all crammed up into my house right now, and try to, navigate through that. And I think maybe a co-op situation where we can give either tax credits or deferred, down payment, or give some type of assistance in that aspect as a partner with them would probably be much better on the 5 o'clock news. Yeah.
Great answer. Member Gonzalez.
Thanks for being willing to
Yeah.
serve.
Good to see you again, too.
Likewise, and my question is, say that you believe some of the stated impacts of a proposed project are actually worse than what's been presented. What do you think your options are?
Well, there are 7 people on the commission, so it's just not my opinion that really counts. But I would like to say that with my 3 decades of experience, that I bring something to the group, and at the same time I'm learning from the people who have tenure. After 32 years, I'm going to stop counting after a while. I would like to propose the strongest with the least amount of risk management to the city to propose to all of you. I don't want to go half-assed, and I think a redefined look and a sharper, opinion could save hundreds of millions of dollars. And when you're talking about an economy right now that we're just kind of upside down in, every penny counts. So I personally would bring it to to the committee and say, this is my opinion, what do you guys think? And here's the pros and the cons, but not to put the city in a risk situation that you would arbitrarily just go, that's a good idea. Because not all ideas are good ideas. You gotta hear them through, right? Pros, cons. And I'm not gonna always have the last word with nor are those people gonna be in agreement with me. But as long as I did my best, hopefully that's all you would be asking of me.
Great. Member Moreno.
Yes. So what do you see as the difference in planning and development between the West Chula Vista and the East Chula Vista?
What's the difference in the planning?
In the planning, planning and development, sorry.
Well, right now, we got some great developers out in the east side, right, out toward the other side of Otay Lakes, going that way. And they're giving affordable housing too. I believe it to be 5% of their build needs to be 10. Thank you. Well, then I think we should raise it to 15. It isn't going to really excite too many people that putting things in a common sense focus is everybody wants to live better. We're all working hard to achieve that. We're all trying to be the best live our best life, right? At the same time, other people are disadvantaged. They don't have the opportunity to be there, be that. There's a lot of commercial building out here, but maybe with some coercing or conversations, we can get those same developers to the west. But I think 15% isn't a stretch. If you get into much higher numbers, might ruffle some feathers, But this economy, whether it's on this side or that side, it's not easy. You go to the grocery store, you get murdered, Now they're talking about our insurance rate going up 54% by the end of the year. And that impacts everybody. It's not just, somebody with a 6-figure salary or somebody making, half of that or if not a third of that. It impacts all of us. So I would probably say, let's go to the drawing table and say, well, what kind of things that we're doing over there that we can do over here? Maybe even buy out some properties. The city buy the properties. I do a lease back program where you don't lose control of the property and you still get what you need, out of the build. And then the developers get the rents. Something to think about.
Great, thank you very much. Now we'll give you a 1-minute closing.
I really like this cool pen. Mayor Salas gave that to me.
Right.
But I really think servitude is the key. Makes me sleep at night that I contributed. I can't make a magic wand happen and everything's going to be a paradise. But This city has and will always look in the best interest of its, citizens. And obviously, the citizens are all voting you, so you're the best of the best. So I would like to very much be a part of that bigger plan. Capital improvement plans, I mentioned before, go anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10 years on the general plan as well as a specific plan. Sorry, I'm getting all throaty because it's humid outside. If somebody has water, that'd be great. I didn't mean to steal yours.
That's all right.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna get choked up and you won't hear me. So, I think that's it.
There you go.
Thanks.
Can we hold his timer?
You're fine.
You're
Your
fine.
last one, yeah.
I'll try to hurry up so you can get to dinner. So, having said that, I really think we would take a strong look at the development of the upsizing of our sewers, of our water, of our storm drain. We're getting a lot of potholes out here. I'm sure you're all getting phone calls about that. I think those things could be remedied with a much less heavy hand by inviting those developers back here. But again, it's what do we want the West to look like? Is it skyscrapers like New York, or do you want townhomes that are affordable? People can go in and go, I got a little something that I can be proud of, I can take care of. Then I don't have to be concerned about a lot of the crime in the city and some other things. So I guess that's pretty much it. I just wanted to have this opportunity to tell you a little bit about me.
Sounds great. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to interview today. We really appreciate you. And the city clerk tomorrow will go ahead and contact everybody and tell everybody what the results are. And please have a good night. Thank you for your interview.
Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Good seeing you too.
You too.
Well, that was our final candidate. Before we do deliberations, Madam Clerk, do we have any public speakers?
Yes, we do have 2 public speakers, Robert and Jonathan.
Hello, everybody. I'll try to speak up because I don't have a microphone right in front of me. Of the candidates, what I did notice, right, I was taking notice to who said they left the city and was living somewhere else and then came back. And as far as I heard, it was the 3rd candidate. He went to Las Vegas. And he has a lot of open, he's not a bad candidate. He just has a lot of open ideas to all these things, right? Where I think the most focused candidate was the 2nd guy from Chula Vista. He went to Hilltop, Tim. I think he had the relevant qualifications to our city specifically. Like the other guy, his relevance was major, big projects, huge government things and General Dynamics and all these other. But the other guy, he actually worked in Chula Vista on projects in Chula Vista. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure
Take your
I go
time.
through my notes. One thing that stuck out with the first gentleman, he said it was a bucket list. And not that that's a bad thing, but the way that I took it was he was already on another council, right? And he wants to be on another one. The motivation to me is different than someone who's in the industry who's very specific to learning the things that, I mean, being an engineer doesn't mean you're an architect and all these other things, right? So I think that was just my best of listening. I didn't verify any of the businesses he worked for or nothing like that, but just sitting here and listening to what I heard right now, I think that Tim was the best candidate. So, thank you.
Member Acosta, or Mr. Acosta?
Good afternoon. As you know,
Mr. Acosta, can you just move the, put it on the wall there so I can
everybody
see
hide
better.
behind.
Perfect, perfect. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, first of all,
Apologize for that.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt your phone call.
Well, don't.
Okay, as you know, the commission is a volunteer, and those people that actually apply, they care for the city. That's why they're taking the time. It's not a paid position, and it's because they want to benefit the city, do something for the city. I was a commissioner for 2 different commissions for 2 times, for 2 terms each. And I know that those members, they care for the community. And the way it sounds to me that you all trying to hold the applicants to a higher standard than you are. Simply because, I'm just talking about Alonso. If you knew, if you knew what you know about Alonso, what everybody knows about Alonso, would you appoint him? Of course not. Simply because, like I say, you're asking too many questions, you're being too strict to the applicants who are volunteers. They volunteer their time, unlike Alonso, he gets paid for that. So my point is, be kind to those volunteers in a paid position. They care for the community. They care for the community, and like I say, what I see now and lately, and it's been printed by the press, that you like in a code of conduct, like about ethics, simply because there's too much backdoor deals within you guys. You know who you are. All you have to do is read the press. So what I'm talking about, be kind to whoever applies, wherever you decide to pick, but don't pick it in a way where you're going to benefit from here or from him. I guess, female benefit from him. So remember, it is a volunteer position. They care for the city. They care for what they do. And like I say, I did 2 terms. I turned out. But again, I think I accomplished more by being a freelance. I own myself. I don't have to respond to anybody else, and being a commission, there's really a lot of rules and regulations within it's great. But remember, they are still volunteers. And like I say, if you know, if somebody else, and a volunteer, has some dark background that Alonso has, that you know about it, would you appoint him? Of course not. Now my question is, why don't you remove it? He was appointed, he could be removed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now that we've had the public speakers, we'll go ahead and do the council deliberation. And what I'm going to do is, before anybody has a motion, I'll go around and just allow everybody. And what I've done in the past is just sort of ask everybody a couple comments, but maybe who's their top candidate or top 2 candidates, and then we can see if we can form a consensus. So, Member Moreno, I'll let you be first since we started that way, and then we'll start with you.
I would have started the interview first, and I'm just kidding. So we're doing comments and then our first 2 candidates. Is that what you just asked me?
Yeah. Comment or first 2 candidates and comments, whatever's easier, but that's the synopsis.
Wow, that is really tough.
And you can do only 1 candidate if you want to, or
Yeah.
or if you want all 3, you can say all 3, but we only have to have
I really
option for
liked
1.
Charles, the 3rd candidate. I really felt he was authentic. And I feel there's some space for him, but I thought he was great, and I really appreciate him coming in today. I think the other 2 candidates, though, had a little bit more experience to offer, and their questions, their answers, were a little bit more on task with the questions that we had asked. I loved his energy. I loved that he was, excited to be here, and I think there were just some areas that I think maybe if he is part of other commissions and learns a little bit more, then maybe he would be able to be really great at this one. But I would want to vote for either James or Tim Jones.
Okay, thank you. Member Gonzalez?
The position that's available, point of clarification, is a design professional, right?
It's at large.
It's an at-large position?
All
So
3
we
of them
are-
are qualified professionals for the other seat. I'm gonna bump them over once they're appointed, but because all 3 of them have some good land use background. Smythe is the one that's more government background, not so much land use oriented, and probably the one that I would get into constructive debates with about land use the most, but he is at the top of my list because I think his vision of what the role of the planning commission is seemed to jive most with me with the reality of what the planning commission does. So I would have James Smythe at the top of the list. And I think the other two are very close for me, so I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the deliberations.
Okay. Member Chavez?
I really hope all three of them stay in different positions in the city. I think they have very unique capacities, and I think that just the commitment to serve in their spare time, and especially when we get to know their background and how many years they've invested in building this career, that they're very kind to come and talk about their profile to us. I really like Charles Sanfilippo. I think he's very sincere. I think he has a wealth of knowledge of many issues, and I like his answer in multiple occasions. First answers with him, with Councilmember Preciado, I didn't really appreciate. They just seemed a little lost, but I really liked his answer in many occasions, not just mine. So that would be my first choice. My second choice would be Tim, who I just think he's a genuine person, an architect, but I think he's missing a little bit of knowledge in other subjects in general. I think they're all great candidates. I hope they all stay within the city. But my first candidate, Charles, second, Tim.
Thank you very much. Member Preciado?
I really appreciated Charles' openness, and I think for an at-large seat, this is the kind of person that you need to be able to think outside the box, to offer concrete ideas that are different. Obviously I've known Jim Smythe for a long time. He was the general manager and served in other roles while I was at Sweetwater Authority. And I really thought Tim's responses, particularly as he was discussing the market, just really projected his perspective as clearly somebody with a lot of experience and a great trajectory. But for the at-large seat, I'm only interested in supporting Charles. I liked how broad his view was. I liked the energy he might bring to discussion with other professionals that may be very by the book, very focused. But since he's applying for the at-large seat, I'm very interested in seeing someone like him join the Planning Commission and offer ideas and be bold about them. He was not apologetic about the 15%, even though that may have caused alarm for any developer in the room. And also I appreciated that, for example, he did not have a discussion that was anti-ADU, which is one of the few mechanisms we have for affordable housing options. They're not always affordable, but so in that context, my support will be for Charles.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to thank the City Council for coming in. I want to thank everybody who's come here to be able to do that. And just one last time, we don't have any more speakers or anybody would like to say anything?
No additional speakers.
Okay, great. I believe that all three candidates were very, very qualified and could definitely do the job. And it's really neat to see because it shows you that how we have great people who would like to be able to serve and make things happen. I'm somebody who has always sort of worked their way up and had to battle in the trenches and everything. And I think since this is an at-large position, I think the Mr. Sanfilippo really demonstrated that. I think he really seems to want to roll up his sleeves and be very, very good at working together on both sides of the city and making sure that we can move things forward. And I think that has enough consensus to, for me to make the motion. So I will make the motion to appoint Charles Sanfilippo as an appointment. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
With a second from Member Preciado. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the text and then we'll do the vote.
This is an appointment to fill the vacancy for the at-large seating on the Planning Commission with Mr. Charles Sanfilippo. And I'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilmember Deputy Mayor Gonzalez?
Alonso, your vote.
Yes.
Councilmember Moreno?
Yes.
Councilmember Preciado?
Yes.
And Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Member Charles Sanfilippo gets a unanimous vote to be the next appointee to be for Planning Commission. So again, Madam Clerk, if you could go ahead and tomorrow make sure that you communicate on that. I know this is a public meeting, but it would be nice to be able to allow the city clerk to be able to give the news to Mr. Sanfilippo and the other candidates. With that, we will then go ahead and adjourn to the next council meeting on September 10th at 5 p.m. in our city council chambers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Preciado, for making that
Good meeting, good meeting.
observation on this.
Appreciate this. Is it normal for staff to come in during this appointment specifically?
Absolutely.
And then do you guys